Hey guys, coming in to show you how I made these book boxes today. This one I did first, and I've made some cards and some envelopes to fit it. It's got 5 cards and envelopes in this one, and all I did was use the leftover pattern paper and make different cards to add into the box. The box will hold standard size cards and envelopes. Okay, now while I've got this open, I just want to say that this one was not made the way that I wanted to make it because I forgot to do a few things. You can also just quickly, while I'm letting you know, this spine piece, you can glue it to this piece here so that when it's closed, it only opens like to here. But I actually like that it folds out flat, so I don't do that, okay? But that's an option, just in case I forget to tell you later. Also, this one was done without anything on the spine and without anything to hold it closed. So I went ahead and did this one, which has brads on the spine, I don't know if you can see them, and a ribbon closure to hold it closed. And I also added, as you can probably see on this one, there's no pattern paper on this edge here. I don't know if you can see, there's no pattern paper there, but when I did this one, I did actually add the pattern paper in there. And I've also put the paper on the back. Okay, so let's get on with it and I'll show you how I made them. First of all, you're going to need some cardstock, and you're going to need to do some scoring. So for the cover, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 11 1/8 by 7. 11 1/8 inch side to the top, and you're going to score it at 5 and 6 1/8. Okay, so that's for your cover. And put that aside and do the other sheet. This sheet measures 8.5 by 6 5/8, and you're just going to score it at 1 inch all the way around. Okay, now you're done scoring. Grab your scissors, and hopefully you guys have got enough light. It's a bit overcast here today. It's only 11 degrees, which is about 50 degrees in American temperature. What you're going to do is, along these score lines, you're just going to cut out, well, I just cut out the score line just on each end. Just like that. Alright. Grab your bone folder and burnish those score lines. And this is the inside of your box. Now what you're going to do is add some glue to all 4 tabs. Okay, and where's my glue here? And I'm using wet glue. You can use tape if you want. Hold that there for a second. I'm using bookbinding glue. It dries quickly and has a permanent bond. Okay, so this is now the inside. I think I just said that, didn't I? The inside of your box. Okay, put that aside for the minute. And now this is your cover. So what you're going to do is work on the, I'm just going to turn on this light. I know it's a bit of a shadow now, but it's a bit better. I'm just going to score on these lines. Fold, I mean, on these lines, like that. And now we're going to put some panels on the front. And first of all, I'm going to do the spine. And for the spine, you're going to need, let me see my spine pieces. Okay, so for the spine, which is going to go there just like that, you're going to need a piece of cardstock. Mine's a very lightweight cardstock. It's almost like paper. It's 6 7/8 by 1, and then you're going to need a DSP that's 6 3/4 by 7/8. Okay, and then you're just going to, you need 2 pieces because you're putting one on the outside of your cover and one on the inside. And I need to put glue on this one. But do not glue your spine into your inside cover yet, because you're going to want to cover up the brads, so don't do that yet. But we're going to glue the outside spine on. Okay. And now you're going to put some panels on here. So you're going to have 4 pieces of each of these. Okay, so you're going to need, again, a cardstock piece that measures 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and a DSP piece that measures 6 1/2 by 4 5/8, and you're just going to glue the DSP to the cardstock. Okay, and then you're going to put one piece here, you're going to put one piece on the back, and then one on each inside. I'm going to glue that. Oh, missed a bit of glue. Put a bit of glue there. And don't put your inside one in because you need to add ribbon, so you're going to need some ribbon. Okay, so this is your inside. Now before you add your inside pieces, you're going to add ribbon. I've just got some thin cream ribbon, and I'm going to use some double-sided tape. Grab a centering ruler and just try and see where the center is. So that's roughly there. I'm going to go with that. Take off this backing. Oh, if I can get it up. Like that. And then grab your ribbon and just add that in there. like that. And now you can add one of your panels, glue one of your panels in. And then the same over here, you're going to want to add your ribbon. If you just look to see where your ribbon is on that side. And then you can add your other panel. Really have to add another panel underneath, but I kind of like to. So now you can add your box in here, but I prefer to do the sides first and then put the box in. So we're going to do that. So we're going to move this out the way. Yeah, we'll move this out the way and we'll put the panels on for the box. So for the box, you're going to need 2 different size pieces. You're going to need one that measures 6 1/4 by 7/8 cardstock, and the DSP that measures 6 1/8 by 3/4. No, sorry, that's this one. That's the bigger one. So again, the mat is 6 1/4 by 7/8. The DSP for that is 6 1/8 by 3/4. Then you have the shorter mat, which is 4 1/2 by 7/8, and your DSP that is 4 3/8 by 3/4. Okay, and you can glue those together. Just like that, and then you can glue those panels onto your the bottom bit of your box, and then we'll glue the box in. I'm just going to add the glue. You can use tape, you don't have to use wet glue if you don't want to. I find with wet glue I can rip it up if I need to, if I've made a mistake, and I can maneuver it around just slightly as well. In this video we're also going to use the brand new DIY cuts machine from Tasercraft to cut out the front sentiment on the front of the box. So that's it. Now you can flip this over. I'll do my tape, and I'm going to add tape to the back of it. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. That one's sticking over a little. Take the backing off your tape. Okay, so now your tape's off, and you can add this. Oh, before we add this, actually, before I stick that down, I'm going to add the brads so we can add the other panel, spine panel in there. So I'm going to add the brads on this side, and I didn't get any brads out, so I don't know if I want to do square brads again. I think I will. I kind of like the square brads. Okay, and for the brads, you want to space them about 1.5 inches apart. So I'm just going to go 1.5 inches in, about there. About there. And about there. Okay. Grab my piercing tool and just pierce a hole in there. Okay, and then we have 1, 2. I don't think I measured this very well, but it'll do. Flip it over, and I'm just going to use the back side of my tool to push that down. Like that. And now we can add the other spine in there. And what I'm going to do with the spine is put a piece of this tape, double-sided tape, in the center, and then I'm going to put glue on the each edge of it. Like that. Take that off, and then add that to here. Down on that, make sure that it's got a good adhesion because it's covering those brads. And that's the inside of your book, and that's the outside. So now you can add your box, and you're just going to line it up. That'll do. Just to there, push it down, and you're done. There's your box, you see. Okay, now we can tie it shut. Like that. You can cut these ends a little shorter. Okay. And now we can decorate the top, and I have got a couple of dies. I've got the Stampin' Up, what's it called? Stampin' Up layering ovals dies, and I'm just keeping them on a magnetic sheet in an Avery old pocket with a little label so I know what it is, and it holds both. So I've got 2 there, and I've got 1 that I've already cut out that I printed out with the printer. I just I went to Notepad and I chose a script that I liked and printed it out and cut it out with the die. And now we're going to now we're going to cut out the other layers to it. So we're going to use our little DIY cuts machine, and I'm going to turn it this way so the handle is towards me. And I'm going to use this cardstock that coordinates with the other. I'm using my B plate and my base plate. So I've got my base plate and my B plate, my cardstock, my die, and my C plate, and you just run that through. Just like that. It's almost the same as the Big Shot, except it's a little smaller, and I think it's a little easier to actually turn the handle. And so we've got this, that's our scallop, and then we're going to use this one and put our C plate back on and run that through. Okay, now, and then I store my dies on this thing, and let me just take them off for a second so you can see. It's a Spellbinder's magnetic diamond, and what it does is it holds your dies while you're using them. You got them out for multiple projects. Instead of putting them back in the packaging or having them, you know, get lost under a whole pile of paper, for instance. Let's say, you know, we're working and we've got dies and we've got paper, and you're looking and you're like, oh, where'd my dies go? You take this and you just go like this, and it picks up all your dies for you. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And of course, I just store mine while I'm working with them on here, and you don't lose them. They're just right there. So move that out of the way. So then this is our layer. I've got the scallop, I've got this circle, and where's my, now I've lost the other cards thing. Here it is. And that's going to go on there like that. So we've got the 3 layers, and I'm just going to use wet glue to layer those together. And layer again with wet glue. My dog's barking, sorry about that. There's probably another dog out there and he's saying, hi, this is my house. Okay, so that's together, and then I'm just going to use some foam squares for the back. These are really small, thin, not very high foam squares, and they do the job nicely, because it's if you don't want a lot of height, these foam squares are great. And I don't want too much height, because the books, I want them to be able to get them all here, to stand together. What I mean by that is, if they're on a shelf, I want to be able to stand them up like this and not have too much bulk. So what I'm going to do is place that about there, and that's our box. See? Isn't that cute? And of course now this one that doesn't have the ribbon, if you put it in between one that does, it's going to stay closed if you have a few of them. So if you don't want to put the ribbon on, once you have a few of them, they'll stay closed. It won't flap open. So I think they're so cute. Anyway, then with the scraps, I'll just make some cards like I did with this one. that's the reverse of this paper. I've got this C, that's the reverse. So what I do is just use the reverse, although this grey one, it didn't have a reverse, so I'm going to just do plain, like use the pattern side. And this one also does not have it just has the red, so I'm going to use that side for the cards as well. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will talk to you all again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.